everybody, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Adventures, where we defend a pickpocket against murder allegations.
It's a chronicle of our adventures, Alex.
It all goes back to Magnus McGill. It is an appropriate title, by the way.
That's what I was like. But of course, I was like, what's his name? He's stereotypically Irish, and then I just looked up like,
Hearty Tar. It all goes back to the IRA. I mean, it is England.
I was just like, it's something, stereotypically Irish, maybe a pun.
When I awoke the following morning, Susato-san was already gone. Outside the window, the rain came down in sheets, and so began an even longer day than the last.
And that means there's no wind resistance, you're gonna fucking die. Whoa! Whoa!
One day I would remember for the rest of my days. Morning, Gina. I'm determined to prove your innocence today. I'm sure we can do it. So where's your friend then? Sorry? You know, in the fancy dress. Susardo, or however you say it, I don't know. Miss Susato had to leave earlier this morning. She was already gone by the time I woke up. You alright with that, are you? Forget about me if you like. Go and see her off. It's fine. It's not as though Miss Susato and I will meet again. One day. Even so. But you, Gina, you only get one chance. This trial today is all we have. Morning, you two. Cat. How are you feeling, Ginny? You managed to get some sleep? Wagga hi. Chris, what are you doing here? What do you mean? When a friend is in need, we show our support. Isn't that right, Waggy? Waggy. Show your support, kitty. I'm having those around. What I'm gonna do? Well, that reminds me, I brought a paper with me here. Now, would you like the good news or the bad news? What do you say, Ginny? Well, I think I'd rather get the bad news out of the way first. No, I said the good news first. You might not want to hear the bad. Yes, that question always be people's personalities. Let's not go. Alright, then I'll give you the bad news first. Record amount of rain has fallen this morning and carriages all over the capital are struggling to move. Bad news was a weather report. So I hope that Susie made her train to Dover and the train was waiting to report. Oh yeah. Alright then, so what's the good news? Well, the rain is forecast to subside this afternoon. The train is delayed should be able to make it a time later. Well, that is good news, isn't it? I couldn't give a monkeys, really. You know, good news cancels out with that. The trial made the headlines too. All broke repaired. First blunder, you see. I feel like that. Well, let them say what they want. See if I care. Can't be better over your face. Don't worry, we're gonna show everyone that the headlines nonsense. And then in tomorrow's papers, the headlines will be discharged driver and dauntless do-gooder. Discharged diver and dauntless do-gooder. Yes, let's hope so. I have absolute faith in it. How was that? I was trying to sound like Susan. Did it work? Did it? It's like she is still here. Today's paper. Good luck then, Bruno. I'll do what I can. Unbroken everybody. Could also explain why Gregsy has been running from pillar to post at the moment. Obviously, I don't know them all like Susie does, but still. Like I said, the whole time you're doing moral support and encouragement. I'm not sure that my is as comfortable as you think it is, to be honest. But, thank you, Iris. That's very kind of you. Oh yeah, Iris. Yes, Jenny? Well, I was wondering is all about Sholmes. Did they fix him up alright? Yes. The operation was a great success. But, Hurley still hasn't come around yet. I've asked a friend of mine at Scotland Yard to send a telegram as soon as he wakes up. Oh, right. There's Usado-san and Shrubberies. It's all down here. Christina Lestrade, Counsel for the Defense. The trial is about to begin. Please make your way into the courtroom. It's time then. Yes, let's go, Iris. You missed Cat.
Glad the hat is here.
And then he ran away.
Oh.
Apparently, the torrential rain has delayed trains, so Susato-san might not make it to her ship in time. The rain's predicted to let out to allow the trains to get there. Also, Iris has volunteered to be our judicial assistant in lieu of Susato-san, and this is an almost accurate date for the court case. Today. It's almost
14th, 17th.
pretty close. Oh, it's the Reaper again. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session.
Alright, place your bets. How many glasses?
I'm gonna go with... the last one had 3 trial sections, so you smashed 5. So I'm gonna go with a charitable lead.
There's gonna be, there's only gonna be like 3 glasses, but it might like break off this bottom too.
Okay.
Because this is like the big one, and we're gonna do some crazy cheese that's gonna be proper.
Prosecution is ready. Defense is ready.
What did this hear us at this point?
Lord Van Zykes, my lord. Remind me, how many years ago was it that you withdrew from the Public Prosecution Service? It was some 5 years ago. Yes, and then 2 months ago you resurfaced somewhat unexpectedly. And here you are again today. Are there some circumstances in which the court should be aware that have led to this erratic behavior? In one you might describe as your former life 5 years past, you dealt exclusively in matters concerned with the highest echelons of society and government. Yet today you choose to try a simple case of burglary and murder. I confess I find it more than a little bit fuddling, counsel. There are 2 types of person I can employ. Firstly, those wealthy scoundrels who hide behind the mask of philanthropy and cheat the public at large. Yes, I just about managed to work that out, thank you. And secondly, even more than this, those wily scoundrels who masquerade as allies and need to effect total betrayal in the final hour. In other words, the confidence tricksters from tiny islands in the Far East, the Nipponese.
Ah, right, racism. We should.
Did he really just say that? He means you never know. Yeah, I actually managed to work that out too, thank you. Total betrayal? What are you talking about? Toward the future on Van Zykes' eyes. Was that directed at me, or was he talking about all Japanese people? Oh boy, the racism is in full force. An alarmingly scathing explanation, Lord Van Zykes. Still, the judiciary welcomes the return of the so-called Republic for London's benefactors. Your lordship is too kind. Now, jurors, the 6 of you have been selected at random to represent the will of the people. Alright, how many of these jurors do you think are going to be key to this trial? I'm going to guess just about everyone.
I was going to say at least.
Oh, hey, I recognize some of these people.
Okay,
I recognize literally everyone except for one. So that's the maid from last time.
Yes, I remember that.
I don't
No
know who
idea.
he is. That's Grandpa Banana
I was
Dog.
going to say, knows that.
That's the typewriter lady from the first trial, and then that's the person that we helped on the boat, the dress-up version of that Russian spy.
Okay.
As former lieutenant in the British Army here, don't you know, chaps like me report regularly. Clean crockery, clean cutlery, and clean conscience. Unfortunately, tomato is very appropriate here, I think. Oh, it's a stereoscope. I don't understand it. I can't have left it in there. It's not possible. Could I have?
What do you leave later?
Women indispensable in society. Stop. Female-centric future awaits. Stop. He's got a mouse. Good day. I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take bus to Crystal Tower, please.
You just grab a random thing. You're gonna determine a murder trial.
It's just, I'm fairly sure I recognize these jurors. Almost all of them, in fact. Really? Funny coincidences like that do happen from time to time, don't they? It is quite strange. The jurors are chosen at random from London's 6 million inhabitants, you know. So I've been led to believe, but something tells me I'm being duped. Very well. Now Lord Van Zykes. The court calls upon the prosecution to introduce the facts of the case. Oh shit, I just realized. So the first person that was masquerading as the Russian was that ballerina.
Yes.
Right.
Is this the actual?
But she had a cat. And he has a mouse, so it's likely the real one. Allow me to begin with a word of warning to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury. In short, there has never been a more self-evident case of cold-blooded murder. The victim, Mr. Pop Windebank, proprietor of a pawn shop on Baker Street, was shot from behind and died instantly. The prosecution presents this photographic print of the crime scene. As the court will observe, there is a single bullet just below the gentleman's left shoulder. The evidence suggests that the bullet pierced the man's heart, resulting in near instant death. Moving to the findings of Scotland Yard's coroner, his report states that the bullet entered his body on a rising diagonal trajectory. So that means from below. And what's that supposed to tell us? It means the victim was likely shot by someone significantly shorter in height than himself. Someone, like the accused, you might say.
It was simply on the ground.
The prosecution wishes to present the autopsy report and crime scene photograph as evidence, my lord. Indeed, the court accepts. Hand them to the bailiff, please. Autopsy report has been entered. Crime scene photograph has been entered. I now ask the court to turn its attention to this plan of the establishment where the incident occurred. The proprietor was found in the storeroom where he kept articles pawned to him. A windowless room with a single point of entry, a door to the main shop that was found locked. In this, quote, sealed chamber, there were only 2 persons present. The victim, Mr. Windebank, and the accused. It may further interest the court to know that when the accused was discovered at the scene, she had in her hand the gun to fire the fatal bullet. Well, that's that then, isn't it? Nothing more to say. And that curvy little girl pickpocket anyway? She's one of those filthy drags that was slow instead. Oh well, it was only a matter of time before she got blood in her hands then. What are the jurors waiting for? This girl's
Objection!
You can't jump to conclusions here. We must not assume her guilt because of what she had to do to survive. Uh-oh, here's the first glass. My learned Nipponese friend. It is you who mustn't jump to conclusions. The prosecution has barely begun presenting its case. Conveniently, this is an appalling act of murder, and it did not go unobserved. There were witnesses. Gracious. After their testimony, this girl's true nature would be exposed. Pitiful pickpockets at full heart killed.
How do you have...
It was the 2 guys that shot Sholmes and ran.
But it's in the locked door, how do they...
Panel in the door that you could open. Here's to establishing the truth.
It seems a stretch to say, yeah, we have a witness for this closed door murder.
Yeah, the court will take the floor plan and firearms into evidence. And insects. At once, my lord.
We're getting up real fast.
No, not yet.
Say,
So let's take a look at all the evidence that just got.
There's so much already.
Yeah, so we also got today's paper from Iris, which on the back states that hostile nations are stealing government communications between Great Britain and its allies. So which is what I think caused that outburst from the Reaper. Autopsy report, Windabank.
Also just his
Death.
intense racism as we saw.
Reporting party, Uninosuke Naruhodo. Postmortem findings, single bullet wound to upper half of victim's back, no visible signs of trauma. Instant death from a posterior-anterior bullet wound to the heart. Bullet entered the back from on a gently rising diagonal trajectory. Okay, so gently rising means it's not much shorter.
Entered from the back.
Yes.
And his back is facing dope.
Yes.
So,
Currency floor plan. Yes, that does look like a body.
I was about to say he's even on the top.
You got it, dumb.
Okay.
This is Mr. Windabank's gun. The cylinder is completely empty. Windabank always used to keep this gun on hand near his shop counter. Except he only had a single bullet loaded, I understand. That's right, to keep all the pawned articles that were in his care safe. Because one bullet was fired that night, that poor man lost his life. Was he protecting his shop, I wonder? Trying to keep the articles safe?
I don't think that he kept the one bullet to protect the things from our conversation today.
Yeah. I wonder if that's the same. Okay.
This was one of those, I get it, it's to protect it. From what I heard, it's not actually to protect it.
Yeah. I was just trying to see if there was like anything else notable in the gun. I feel like the mood in here has turned very gloomy all of a sudden right now. I think that's because it has.
There goes Kate.
Let us begin. Unquote the witnesses of the foul murder of Mr. Pop Windabank on 16th of April of this year.
Oh shit, we're streaming on Discord.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Hi, Gertson.
Hey, Grayson.
Witnesses, state your name and occupations for the court. Name's Nash Skulkin. Occupation is baddie, professional baddie. Name's Ringo Skulkin. Occupation's same as him. Tobias Gregson, Scotland Yard Inspector. That's right. We were what they call three Skulkin brothers.
The three.
What are you looking at me like that for? Don't lump me in with you lot. Core, blimey, that's cold. Don't you know what we're going through? It's our older bruv. Lost contact with him, we have. So we're scouring every shady corner of the capital. Then last night we come across you, the very spit of the bloke. Ain't that right, Ringo? He is, Nash. The very spit of him. So we decided then and there what we was gonna do. We was gonna call you Big Bruv Sulky. Come on, leave it out, you two. Sulky Skulkin? And that's before he's run out of chips. Well then, Inspector Sulky Gregson. Begging your pardon, my lord, but the name's Tobias. What I would like to know, Inspector, is what you are doing in the witness stand. The Skulkin brothers are currently under arrest, my lord, on suspicion of theft. Thieves, are they, these three? No, my lord. I'm begging your pardon, but please don't lump me in with this lot. 2 nights ago, these two brothers illegally entered an establishment with intent to burgle. And in the course of their nefarious activities, they became embroiled in a far more sinister crime. By Jove, you mean to say, what an extraordinary coincidence. Indeed, my lord. While attempting to burglarize the pawnbrokery, they witnessed his proprietor's murder. Good for them for getting a box for him. Various trespassers of these brothers is not the subject of today's proceedings, but they will naturally face trial in the very near future. With your lordship's permission, I'd like to remain in the stand to keep these gents on the straight and narrow. Of course, Inspector. Skeptical as I am about the caliber of these witnesses, I will permit them to take the stand.
Somehow Grayson.
Mr. and Mr. Skulkin, you will now testify before the court. Describe the events of the night in question and what exactly you saw. Happy to. For the Skulkin Skulkin', never skulkin'. Get out of it. Illegal entry. Who was walking down Baker Street in the small hours, and the Gav's door was ajar, see? It was like some kind of sign, begging for us to go in, it was. But once we got inside, core blindly, lummy, we heard a gunshot from the back room. I wanted to see what was what, but the door was locked from the inside. We never done nothing, though. No, we never took nothing. We just left after that, nice and quiet. What about shooting Sholmes? Terrible coincidence, it would seem. Precise moment these miscreants entered the property, and even more sinister crime was afoot. The witness's testimony is consistent with the crime scene in every detail. The door providing access to the storeroom from the main shop was indeed locked from the inside, and within, only the victim and the accused were found. I must say, it does appear to be an overwhelmingly simple case. Still, the defense may cross-examine the witnesses now, of course. Counsel, if you please. Counsel? Yes. What's the matter, Runo? Sorry, I was just stunned into silence for a minute by the blatant lies being told by that pair in the stand. No, it's all nonsense, because I saw it with my own eyes. I just have to expose their testimony for the pack of lies it is. They're professional thieves. I don't mean to be that person. It makes sense that they would be professional thieves. Hold it! The front door at Windibanks was ajar, you say? What time of night was this? Must have been about 1. Right, Ringo? Yeah, I'd say so. Right, Sulky? How would I know? The place would have been shut at 1 in the morning, just like every other shop in town. Oh, it's pitch black inside, it's true. Ain't that right, Ringo? I'm not so sure, Nash. I seem to remember a little light burning inside. What about you, Sulky, the old mucker? Leave me alone. There was definitely a small lamp burning inside. That's what alerted us to the situation in the first place. When these gentlemen ventured into the open establishment, the accused Miss Gina Lestrade already had the muzzle of her gun trained on the unfortunate victim. Objection! Objection. That is pure conjecture. Perhaps. But it changes nothing. These brothers inadvertently wandered into the middle of a cold-blooded murder, simply because they found the door of the victim's establishment open and ventured inside. Right, that's what happened.
So, okay, I was about to say, when they were talking about like the light and stuff, and they kept going, and Gregson said, leave me alone. I was about to say, is that part of testimony? Can I go press him on it? Leave me alone. I would like to know more, Mr. Gregson.
Why do you want him to leave you alone? Are you in fact denying that you are Sulky, that Skulkin? Hold it! What are you trying to suggest? That you had to go in? Well, God moves in mysterious ways, they say, don't they, Ringo? They do, Nash, they do. Must have been some sort of providence, I reckon. God's will often presents itself as the whim of thieves, does it? It weren't no whim, I'm dead sure of that. It weren't, Nash, it weren't. Like we said at the time. You don't just find doors open in the middle of the night like that. Nah, there's no two ways about it. It was a sign that our long-lost brother was inside. They're not very good liars, are they? Well, you can't deny it. Led us to the bloke that looks just like our bruv. I said, cut it out. Those chips are getting a chumping today. But once we got inside, poor Blimey Lowy, we heard a gunshot from the back room. Hold it! Gunshot, you say? Just the one. Are you sure about that? Yep, just the one, Governor. I can swear to that. It was Nash, it was. Ain't that right, bruv? The firearm used to belong to the victim himself. Yes, Mr. Windibank always used to use his gun. Yes, I remember. When we examined it, we found the revolver was completely out of rounds. That makes sense. He only used to say he only used the bullet loaded. That's true, I remember him saying that as well. So we can say with considerable certainty that only a single round was discharged from the firearm used since the murder. Yes, my lord, we can. And I should remind the court, the firearm in question was discovered in the hand of the accused. Wonderful. We went to see what was what, but the door was locked from the inside. I know what the final one is going to be.
Hold it!
Shop shelves. Do you mean the door between the main shop and the storeroom? My learned friend is having difficulty grasping the situation, perhaps a drawing would help. Excluding the shop's entrance from the street, there's only one other door, that of the storeroom. Of course, there was only a little oil lamp burning, not much to see by. And the door was hidden behind a curtain and all. That's right, it was. When we arrived, the door was mostly obscured by the curtain. Tell me, why exactly did you try to open that door? Eh? Any normal petty thief... Oh no, it sounded like a gunshot, I should think. Oh, well, your turn to rabbit, Ringo. Well, Nash, yeah. I suppose you'd have to say we ain't normal, eh? Broadly speaking, humans respond in one of two ways on hearing a gunshot or scream. The timid flee, gripped by fear, while the courageous investigate to see if they might help. These gentlemen are of the latter inclination. My learned Nipponese friend, it would seem, is of the former.
Yeah, definitely. These people really think, well, I'm never gonna jump in and help after hearing a gunshot.
Alright, somehow I just proved that I was a coward that night. Thank you, counsels. So I believe we all understand the door was locked and could not be opened. Proceed, witnesses.
Hold it!
You didn't do or take anything? Is that your story? Well, it was bedlam soon as, wasn't it? It was, Nash, it was. Didn't even have time to pull me Dukes out me Lucy lockets. So with no time to take your hands out of your pockets, you left nice and quietly, you say. That's right, Governor. Nothing we ain't more than violence. Peace-loving nibblers we are, not bludgers. We are, Nash, we are. Never even pulled me Dukes out of me Lucy lockets. So you'd clearly like us to believe. Eh? Come again? As you fled from the pawnbrokers that night, did you not run into anyone else? And did you not fire a gun at that person? Saints alive, they fired a gun, you said? Ah! Blimey, Governor. You ain't telling us it was you in the doorway. It was. Why the bleeding Nora? Didn't you mention that before? You were armed with a gun, and as soon as you fled the scene, you fired that gun at London's greatest detective, Colonel Sholmes. They shot Sholmes? I did hear that, actually. There was a rumor he'd been rushed to the hospital. Great Sholmes? That's beyond the pale. On the night in question, this pair were arrested by the police within minutes of the discovery of the crime scene. Their suspicious countenance rapidly gave them away. And when we searched, a firearm was indeed found in their possession. Furthermore, the barrel shows signs of a shot having been fired from it. The prosecution invites his lordship to examine the firearm recovered from his brothers. That is a rather weirdly shaped pistol. Like, it's a little longer. It almost looks like it's like leaned forward now. Maybe I'm just being a critic. Remnants of the powder around the muzzle, as you say. The court will hold this weapon as evidence. The Skulkin brothers' gun has been entered into the court record.
Anyway, I started glass.
Oh. The glass is out again. Now, my learned Nipponese friend. Yes. Here's to your success for presenting the evidence. For yes, there are telltale signs of spent powder on this gun, and a single bullet is inclusive. The prosecution demands evidence that it was fired at the scene of the crime under scrutiny in this trial.
Objection!
Well, I don't need evidence. Because I was there.
Objection!
However, the rest of us in this courtroom are not. The defense fails to provide evidence in support of this rash claim. We shall have no choice but to toast your evidence. Evidence that these two fired the The court demands that all claims be affirmed with clear proof. First, I would like to examine the gun.
Take that!
Let's see. The evidence is in this portfolio. Unearthed evidence there, counsel. During the course of our investigations, we discovered a number of bloodstains. Not trusting the police to do the job they're trained to do? How arrogant and Nipponese of you. Enough with the casual racism, Van Sykes. Jesus.
At this point, this man's going competitive racist.
Ranked number 2 in the world.
That's some quality Diamond 5 racism, okay?
We analyzed all the blood samples we found and referred the results in this portfolio. We found the evidence the court is demanding therein. Yes, madam. No more dallying, then, counsel. Present the pertinent evidence at once. What do you have in your portfolio that proves that the witnesses unloaded a firearm at the scene? I mean, the picture with the bullet?
Take that!
What is that? Explain. It's a photographic print taken at Little Bank's pawnbroker in the day of the incident. On the scene of the crime, is it? Is that a hole? And if my eyes do not deceive me, it appears the bullet is still lodged there. Yes, as your lordship noticed. The bullet pierced Mr. Winnebank's calendar. They show the 16th of April, the very day of the pawnbroker's death. This indicates that a separate shot has been fired sometime after the calendar had been set to the 16th. That's right. And while it isn't irrefutable, the defense believes this is credible evidence that the witnesses did fire a round from their gun at the pawnbrokers that day. Order. How does the prosecution stand, Lord Van Sykes? Yeet.
That'll get turned.
If that is the direction my learned friend wishes to take, the prosecution has no objection. What? One. But you'll forgive me for flinging my hallowed chalice aside in disgust and the repugnancy it exposes. Yes, on the night in question, these brothers entered the pawnbroker illegally. And like the bold baddies they claim to be, opened fire on the new arrivals before fleeing back onto the street. Eh? Take it easy, Governor. You're gonna land us in the soup. We had a deal. We weren't gonna get into them details. Tell him, Sulky, set the bloke straight. I have nothing to add. So he knew, didn't he? Van Sykes knew their testimony would almost certainly expose the extent of their crimes. It would seem now that I owe my learned Nipponese friend a word of gratitude. What do you mean? What I mean is that you have helpfully confirmed an important fact. To what fact do you refer? As has been established at the point of their arrest, a single shot has been fired from the brother's gun. However, if that shot had found its target, Mr. Sholmes, then clearly these witnesses cannot be accused of the fatal shooting of the proprietor and victim. I mean, yes, but that doesn't deny that they're not credible witnesses. They have no material connection to the murder of Mr. Winnebank at all. So that's it. Ah, so this was a trap. That's it. We didn't have nothing to do with it. We didn't mash, we didn't. That's what I reckon. The crimes include unlawful entry, intent to steal, perjury, and let us not forget attempted murder. Quite a catalog, eh, fellas? We're in for it now, bruv.
Let's start shooting.
Now then, let us take a moment to consider the aforementioned great detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. We've seen the man patronize the pawnbrokers in question somewhat regularly. Where's he going with this? Mr. Sholmes appears to take pleasure in tinkering with the eccentric machinery. At this point, I would be shouting objection relevance. But eccentric says who? Not me. Don't give me that look. He installed a pair of machines like this one in the victim's shop. Oh, there it is. There's that console. It has the appearance of a photographic contraption. As your lordship has surmised, it is indeed a camera attached to a small timing device. Every half an hour, it automatically photographs the interior of the establishment. The idea being that if a thief were to break into the shop, he would be caught red-handed.
No thief ever gets in and out in half an hour.
The prosecution has obtained the photographs taken by the device in the night in question. That is a lot of photographs. Okay. 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 The court will observe, copious identical prints are produced in quite desultory fashion. Rather prodigal, I feel. In fact, there are 2 such devices in the victim's shop, my lord. I may refer the court to the plan of the premises. Their respective positions are here. And here. You say these cameras produce a print every half an hour? I'm afraid I fail to see how that would help in the anticipated thief. Help with the anticipated thief conducted his activities in one of the many 30-minute intervals. One can only pray the would-be criminal lingered, my lord. On the night in question, the witnesses currently on the stand are not caught on camera. That's a bit of friar talk game, bro. Lady Lux loves a skulking. Witnesses, at what time did your trespassing begin? It must have been just after 1, right, bro? Must have been, Nash, must have been. Yeah, just gone 1. In which case, minutes before these brothers entered the establishment. What scene might we expect to see within the shop? Let us examine the evidence. Oh! Well, that's pretty...
Doesn't look good.
Yeah, I agree. It's the defendant. Christina Lestrade.
Or if you want yourself.
Or should be passed out after.
Yeah.
As the court can clearly see, the accused is pictured, gun in hand, facing the victim over the shop counter. No doubt coercing the proprietor to open the door to his store.
I can do security. This is strong.
Quite. One can only too easily imagine the events that unfolded. The court will take this photograph and print as evidence, if you please, counsel. I don't believe it. Ginny. Alright, time to look through our new evidence. Oh, okay. I can't, like, flip it over and see if there's anything in there. Okay. In short, the accused is the only person who could have possibly killed Mr. Windibank. I say, my lord. Juror number 1. Wonder if I might put in a word at this point. Go ahead, Mr. Foreman. Took a bally bullet to the knee in the Battle of Maiwan in 1880, don't you know? Okay, so we're at least after 1880.
We can probably say 1900.
Probably.
Type stuff.
Decorated for it and all that, but forced to retire the service, sadly. Of course, the medal can never outshine the exploits of chaps like us on the battlefield. Yes, Mr. Foreman, and what exactly is your point? Carried on that battle after retirement, you see, the battle of daily life. Here I am now leading this small squadron, 6 men, all good and true. We all go down together and mark my words, one for all and all for one. I'm not following.
Yes, I know. Vote leader get here.
Oh, Jen's here. What case are we on now? It's the final case. We're trying to save Gina Lestrade, who's been convicted of killing a pawnbroker.
Inside of a locker room.
Inside of a locked room, as usual. The ladies and gentlemen of the jury have reached an agreement, have they? Is that what we're to understand? Is that correct?
Oh, and also the Gilded is somehow involved.
Yep, the Gilded's involved again. Yes, in a
case
manner of
3.
speaking, that is Garadev's squadron's position, sir. What? No, it's too soon to make a judgment here. Status report for the court, men, on the double. His lordship insists on promptitude at all times, and that goes for making decisions, too. I think you'll find the truth as clear as day now. I could reach out and touch it. I wouldn't have left it in there. I just wouldn't. But in all honesty, I can't actually remember.
What do you... Grandpa, what are you saying?
Situation clear. Stop. No room for doubt. Stop. Truth is now undeniable. Stop. I am really sorry for brothers. They are unlucky. I now call upon each member to state his or her leaning in the matter, and after considered verdicts to the court.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty!
Guilty.
So we have the same jurors as before. Yeah, it's in a poll of 6 million people. We keep polling the same 5 or 6. Yes.
Yeah, there's two
new
jurors
ones.
to the stand.
The weird Russian that definitely doesn't look like the Russian spy that we were worried about during the second case, and the weird guy obsessed with the stereographs that has the weird headset. defense wishes to assert its right to a summation examination. Alright, time to do my thing. Well, the court grants its position. You think yeet or crush? See, you refuse to admit defeat again. How unsurprising. We shall proceed immediately with the summation examination. Mr. Foreman, are all members of the jury ready? Abso-ballotly, sir. Always ready for action, my chaps.
So,
Very good.
in London, the freezing was at 1900. About 5 million people living there.
Yeah, that sounds about right with their estimate of 6 million.
So,
And we should explain on what
The same
grounds you've
form.
determined.
or of the same.
Van Zykes can Zykes my dick.
Okay, I thought this was going to be horny for Zykes, not screams.
Oh yeah, Van Zykes has also been like super racist as of late.
Oh yeah. Also, wastes a lot of good wine.
He also straight up said that he didn't trust any Japanese person, which was something. And here you can see the tip of his pipe clipping into the top of his lip. And all the evidence clearly
You're really
points to
gonna
the
be
finger
that
of guilt of
petty?
the young pickpocketian. As a housemaid, I should like to see all filthy eyesores promptly and religiously eliminated. I think you'll find that if you look at that photograph in stereo, the truth will just pop out. If I have left it in there, I should think there will be repercussions. Mind made up. Stop. Global radio transmission of verdict to follow. Stop. In motherland, we say never judge by clothes, judge by head. I am convinced brothers are innocent. I think he may be Russian.
Really?
The circumstances of the crime and the evidence do indeed implicate the defense rather comprehensively. The storeroom, locked from the inside, in which the victim and the accused were discovered alone. Oh, so he just sucks? Jen, we've had to deal with him for this is the third case now?
Yeah,
we
the
knew
first
that he
case was literally he turned the jury by being like, oh, and by the way, did I mention this man is Jewish? And it's just like, oh.
He's a Jewish Irishman, the
He's
worst
a
of them
Jewish
all.
Irishman banker. And just that turned the entire jury against him. And this man's like, oh man, you can't trust these Japanese. He is. Once again, he's gone from casual racism to competitive racism very quick.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Sholmes. Oh dear, Hurley's cameras were supposed to help, not hinder. I'm afraid I think you have an uphill struggle ahead of you. But Gina didn't shoot Mr. Windibank. Which means there's more to this situation than we've yet to see. Agreed. You have the floor, counsel. Proceed with summation examination.
Maybe Gina just took the gun because he was about to go kill himself. No?
Yeah. Alright, time to press each rebuttal.
Hold it!
You're Mr. Natsume's landlord, Mr. Garadev, aren't you? We really must stop you like this. Ah, you're that lawyer chap. Well, there's a turn up for the books. Yes, rather a turbulent time we had back then. Some extraordinary events took place at your house, that's for sure. Luckily, Mr. Sholmes and I were able to get to the bottom of it all. What repercussions did he end up face?
He didn't kill anybody. Wife won.
Yeah, I did. I think we did rather a lot for you, didn't we? I mean, obviously, I wouldn't be suggesting that therefore you should change your meaning to not guilty or anything. Can't be denied, I suppose. The curse of the Garrett house was the talk of the town after that business. Lodgers moved out. I couldn't get a bally soul to take up the tenancies. Oh. I haven't had the heart to break the news to Joni yet. Bad enough that the old girl's clapped up. Oh shit, she's hurt. Yes, can't be denied. You did do a rather lot, but not for us. That's for dash certain. I suppose not. Of course. There can be no suggestion of that being the reason I'm leaning towards guilty here, obviously. But honestly, I really wish you'd pay more attention to the trial and less to juror number 2.
Hold it!
Polishing the bench, I see. Again. The maid's work is never done. Not a blemish must remain. What exactly do you mean by filthy eyesores? On my way to the market for his lordship, I have to pass through the East End. The place is full of beggars, pickpursers, and crossmen, the scum of the earth. A little harsh, perhaps. Let me be plain. If it were up to me, all those backslums would be made spick and span or eradicated. At least we have people like the Great Detective working to achieve these important goals. Jesus Christ, everyone's racist. Or classist. You're referring to Mr. Sherlock Holmes? That's right. I like to keep abreast of his exploits by reading Rand's magazine and doing my duties. He does wonders cleaning up London streets. In my opinion, he should be declared an honorary maid of the capital. Mr. Sholmes, maid? Yep. That's really quite unbelievable. Gutter scum having the audacity to shoot our very greatest detective. Minor detail. It was the two brothers in the stage who shot Sholmes, not the defendant. A minor detail indeed. They're all gutter scum as far as I'm concerned. Well, it just might be an idea to get their facts straight anyway. Yes, alright. I shall amend my statement. Those brothers are the scum of the earth. They should swing for shooting the Great Detective. You know what that means, right?
Yes, I understand. It means rope,
Hold it!
Yeah. What do you mean look at the photograph in stereo? Sorry, what? Don't you know? You look at the photographic print normally. It looks as though the pickpocket girl is about to shoot the victim, obviously.
Objection!
There's no indication that the victim fired the gun. All I'm saying is that if you look at the same print in stereo, you reveal all sorts of new information. Any chance are you a fan of stereoscopes? Ooh, how did you know? Let's call it a lucky guess. Never gets old seeing two prints merge into one before your eyes. Extraordinary, captivating, is the height of modernity. Of course. Oh yes, I think you'll find the stereoscope is here to stay, giving us new perspectives on what we can only dream of before. It's the greatest invention the world has ever seen. Only you can give me a new perspective on this case and agree with you.
Hold it!
What exactly have you been muttering about all this time, sir? You keep talking about having left something somewhere or something like that. Ah, so sorry. As you can probably tell, I'm a surgeon. Of course, people conducting surgery in this country aren't considered to be doctors. Oh no. Even though me and my kind are the forefront of medical science, the real brains in the field. So what is it that you think you left behind? Ah, well, that's a little embarrassing, to be honest. See, I was operating on someone yesterday. Standard thing, went in through the abdomen. When I finished the procedure, I couldn't find my scalpel anywhere. What? Did he? Surely not. Exactly, surely not, you say to yourself. Worrying, isn't it? That's what's been troubling me this whole time. Could I really have left my scalpel inside the fellow's belly? No, of course I didn't. So, there you have it. Like I said, a little embarrassing, really. That's one way of putting it. The other is manslaughter. That's my exact concern, seeing as this case appears to be all but sewn up. I need to focus on trying to remember exactly where I've sewn up elsewhere. Now, I'm sure I made sure everything was back as it should be. Well, as sure as you can be without being sure. I'm sure you need to be more sure.
Hold it!
Sorry, radio transmission? What do you mean? Are you from the Far East? Stop. Yes, from the Empire of Japan. All communication with Far Eastern nations used to take place by mail. Royal Mail steamers take more than a month to complete the journey. But now we have the electric telegram. We can send messages using electrical signals. Thousands of miles of cables have been laid along the ocean beds connecting the entire world. On the ocean bed? It makes my head hurt just thinking about it. Ah, you are well informed, young lady. Also, I like how there's no, stops anymore. The cables will soon be a thing of the past. Stop. Just when I was starting to catch up. Radio transmission is the future. Stop. Messages carried about, over airways to the four corners of the globe. Stop. Damn, she is going ham on that Morse code machine. Excellent. Growing. Stop. Atmosphere. Electric. Stop. Right. Try not to wear out your fingers. Era of wireless telegraphy. Stop. Modern technological revolution. Stop. When people say inventions like the stereoscopes are the height of technology, what utter piffle. I can't understand it. I really can't. They're just silly things. Oh.
Excuse me.
Jury number 3. Sorry to interrupt when you're perhaps have something to say about juror number 5's last remark? As if I couldn't guess. Oh, you bet I do. Say that again. Go on. I dare you. Goodness, are you talking to me? I think he just might BS. You think stereoscopes are just toys, do you? Huh? Absolutely. I mean, really. A machine to view photographs in 3 dimensions? Why on earth would you not just use your eyes to look at the world around you? It's all 3-dimensional. What a great way to appease the man. No, I'm sorry. Stereoscopes are of no practical use at all. These 2 nerds about to have a fight? Yeah.
Sorry, what does this have to do with why you're guilty?
You just don't know. Pardon? I think you'll find that viewing a photograph through a stereoscope can unlock all sorts of possibilities. I'm obviously going to have to demonstrate what sort of possibilities. We'll take a crime scene, for example. You had a pair of photographs from the crime scene that you could view through a stereoscope to reveal hidden clues you hadn't noticed before. Huh, any prints that we could look at with a stereoscope? Yes. How about this print here? It should do the trick, I think. Yeah, let's do that one.
Take that!
Alright then, juror number 3. Are you saying you can do this with any 2 suitable photographic prints? Of course I can. Very well then, I'd like you to demonstrate. I'd be delighted to. Just give me one more print and I'll leave you all. Oh, fuck. What? Case notes.
I figured maybe just a crime scene when the chalk outline.
Yeah.
We already did the one, so whatever.
Take that!
Here, take this one. Wait, sorry. What do you mean? One more print. Oh dear, oh dear. Don't you have these in the Far East? Don't you know how a stereoscope works? You're gonna... What? You need 2 photographs for a stereoscope, remember? For the left eye and one for the right. Oh yes, I remember now. The print we have from the pawnbroker is just a normal photograph. No. I think you'll find that the clue is in the name. It's a stereoscope, not a monoscope. You always need 2 prints. Thanks for the friendly explanation. Well, if we obtain another print at some point later in the trial, we can always show it to this young man. I think you'll find that know-it-all expression is really starting to annoy me. Let's get things back on track, shall we, Counsel? But we have that with the other camera.
We don't have the
Hold it!
I'm hoping that maybe if I press on this. You know, let's try the blood sample photograph.
Take that!
I can't actually think of anything we could use at all. Oh dear, I think I maybe need to have a stereoscopic look at your brains. What's that supposed to mean? Okay. Russia. Oh no, not Pitt. I like this mouse friend. He's very round.
Hold it!
Please tell me you're not Villain Bolshevik, the Russian revolutionary. Revolutionary? Duh, I believe that is such a rumor. It's just a rumor. As you see, I have unfortunate appearance. I look like Lucius Criminal. Your words, not mine. I just want to point that out. People call me a revolutionary, murderer, autocrat. And which glove fits? Good day. I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take bus to Crystal Palace. Right, that didn't sound staged at all. You'll forgive me for having my doubts. To be treated like Lucius Criminal all the time. It is very painful. People do not realize. So I have much sympathies for these brothers. People say they are criminals only because of how they look. The Smokin' Brothers? Maybe it went inside the pawnbroker shop. But they have done nothing. That is all I have to say. Well, I know who to pit. Her and the genocidal lunatic, I'm saying juror number 2. Their jurors are chosen at random from the inhabitants of London town, aren't they? Yes. It's amazing, isn't it? In that case, how is it that there's a Russian tourist sitting among them who, for all the world, like a revolutionary? I wish I knew. Thank you for not clarifying anything.
Why?
Yes, I know that I just had to ask with worship. I never would have thought the Russian revolutionary would be back.
Objection!
Those two statements contradict another. Good lord. Counsel, explain yourself. Oh my statement? Contradictory? Narrow number 6. You've got the wrong end of the stick. I do not have stick. I have mouse. As juror number 2 said earlier, when the Skulkin brothers fled the scene on the night in question, they fired a shot from their revolver. Yes, they shot poor Mr. Sholmes in the abdomen, I understand. Surely you're not going to tell the court now that you didn't hear. Abdomen. ABD. Sir? Sorry. My English is still learning. You are telling the court you didn't hear. Forgive me, I did not hear. Here is word. Abdomen. Part of person's body containing stomach and other vital organs. If this is what you mean, you should say in plain English. I am Russian, not native speaker. Who thought it was a good idea to let this man be on the jury again? So, you are telling me these brothers who look like criminals were lying. They said before, we've never done anything, but the truth is we shot detectives. This is double negative. Yes, that's exactly right. Oh no! Lying is wrong, especially when lying is said by a person who looks like criminal.
Don't hurt the mouse.
Coming from you, that seems surprisingly prejudiced. That means when they said, we never took nothing, maybe it was also a big fat lie. Is that true? Well, according to the police report, no stolen goods were found, so... Enough! I trust no one now.
Don't hurt the mouse.
It's not the mouse's fault though, sir. I must see with my own eyes. I must investigate crime scene myself. I'm afraid that won't be possible. Yes, it is. Easily. With the prints from Hurley's red-handed recorder. If you compare the print that pictures Ginny and the next print from half an hour later, you should be able to see straight away if anything was taken or not. Oui, Mr. Prosecutor. Tut. Calling on the prosecution in the middle of a summation examination of all times.
I just want
The
a
print showing
picture.
the accused threatening the victim after she broke into the pawn shop is this one.
Shut up. What a picture.
Following this, the victim and the accused moved into the storeroom. Meanwhile, the Skulkin brothers entered the shop and summarily heard the gunshot ring out. Sadly, none of these events were captured on film. This is the photographic print produced half an hour later, after the brothers fled.
Oh, there's the second print, and so we can use the 2 to see
Yeah.
what is missing.
As far as I can tell, nothing has been taken. It does seem to be the case. I can't notice anything that's obviously missing from the second print. So, the brothers who look like criminals told them one lie. They shot men but stole nothing. It would seem so, yes. Good. No, not good. You were right. I did not understand the situation. I now know brothers have lied. I think it is very important to continue with trial. Hey! When he did that, the mouse jumped up. Okay. You know what? Well, it's a start, I suppose, but there must be more in what these jurors are saying that I can use to expose the truth. If I can do that, we might just turn the situation in our favor still. Thank you, counsel. Continue with the summation examination. And kindly hand that new photographic print to the bailiff to be filed as evidence. Bam!
That second photo.
Mr. President, a second photo is at the stereoscope.
No.
Wait. The lake of lies are many dead fish. We must find proof. Therefore, I say not guilty murder.
I think that's kind of instead of this.
Hey! Oh, not that. No. I have one.
Hold it!
Hey, I might have those,
Take that!
take that one. Don't be so aggressive. Jesus Christ, Reno.
God, you.
Take that!
Alright, these two prints were both taken by the same camera and window banks in the night in question. Yes, I see. Tell me, Mr. Lawyer. Do you know how stereographic images work? Do you understand the principle? I think so. I did have a lesson on it yesterday.
Yeah, but do you remember that?
Left and right eye images need to be the same, only with a slight shift in positions of some objects. Then when your brain merges the two objects in your head, it notices the shift as it were depth. Yes, exactly. It's that small shift between certain objects in the two pictures that's very important. So what happens if you use two photographs that are exactly the same then? No, obviously that wouldn't work at all. Not for seeing the scene three-dimensionally, anyway. Oh, of course, now I see. Ah, I think the young girl has discovered the secret. I have. Can you uncross your eyes before you tell me?
Please.
Have another look at these two pictures from her. I can't remember now. There are two people in the first and no people in the second. Well, yes, you can see that straight away. But now, try looking at the pictures in three dimensions. So to start with, you have to cross your eyes and then try to make the two pictures overlap exactly. Where do you see the lamp? Oh, yeah.
I even need to cross my eyes. I'm just that good. That's it.
Ah, what's going on with these two pictures? Some things in the camera just jump out at you. Shout out to Lord Van Zykes for actually using a proper stereoscope. That's the other amazing power of stereoscopes. Another amazing power. Someone's going to have to explain this black magic, huh? Why did the deuce do some things on the counter seem to jump out like that? I think you'll find that if you consider the basic principle of the stereoscope, you'll answer your own question. Basic principles of the stereoscope? As I said before, if you try and look at two identical pictures using a stereoscope, it won't work. It's a slight shift in the positions of certain objects that lets you see the pictures three-dimensionally. In other words, even though at first glance it seems the objects on the counter haven't moved at all between the two pictures, this shows that they actually must have been a slight shift in their positions. I never would have guessed that this entire case hinged on fucking stereoscopes.
Alex, they introduced it, therefore.
I know, but I wasn't expecting this. Like,
It's going to be pivotal, Alex.
why the devil does this shift between the two prints exist in the first place? Well, what's the answer, fellow? Come on. You're the cross-eyed mister. What? Me? I have the first idea. No, it's quite simple. It is. Just think it through step by step. The first photograph was taken at 1 a.m. And 30 minutes later, the second photograph was taken. The position on some items on the counters appear to have shifted slightly in the interim. So that means that sometime in the half-an-hour interval, someone must have tampered with the things on the counter. The Zookers. Someone tampered.
Zoinks.
New information. Stop. Not mentioned in testimony so far. Stop. Yes. We've had to go around in circles a little here, but it seems I'm starting to see what I should be aiming at in the summation examination now. Ladies and gentlemen, the question now is clear. We know the items on the countertop were moved, but by whom? Are you suggesting you might know? Of course. I can tell you right now who is responsible for the almost imperceptible shift on the items on the counter.
Let's say someone else.
I mean, Windabank would be a valid option.
You keep thinking very hard. I'm going to definitely not go back to. What are we on at this point?
This is trial part 1. Summation examination. I think it's part 4? Well, we're trying to prove that these...
No. Part 4 is part 5.
Oh, right, because we finished part 4 and part 5 is trial part 1, sorry.
Yes, okay. Well, 6 against 2, no evidence.
Clearly it was Tobias Griggs.
Okay, so it is actually one of the ones.
Okay, I sort of figured.
Take that!
It was the witnesses currently in the stand, the Skulkin brothers.
Closure to 2 of them.
Wait, this does not agree with what Border said in testimony before. No, Mouse. They said they did not even have time to pull dukes from Lucy Lockets. My phrase book says dukes meaning hands and Lucy Lockets meaning pockets. But this, another lie? Is this what you are saying? Yes, I'm afraid so. Hold on there a minute, you can't be sure of that. I quite agree. The accused is a common pick purse after all. It's perfectly possible she went through the things on the desk to see what she might steal.
Look inside.
I think that's unlikely. And why exactly? As you can see from this photographic print, the defendant was pointing a gun at the victim. It seems, as my learned friend indicated, that she would be coercing Mr. Windabank to open the storeroom door. In other words, Miss Lestrade's interest lay within the storeroom, not in the main shop, giving her no reason to touch anything on the counter. All of which points to one thing. Skulkin brothers have omitted key facts from their testimony. The accused is a pick purse, common gutter trash. Why look any further for the wrongdoer here? Because the Skulkin brothers are thieves, madam? No better, in fact worse, than a pick purse? I believe that these brothers were looking for something on the victim's counter that night. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you were condemned the defendant on the grounds that she's a pickpocket, would it not at least be right and proper to thoroughly scrutinize testimony given against her by 2 thieves? Well said. I, for one, would like to hear more from the shady pair. Did you see that? Since he's trying to keep his hands sterile, he just hand-wooded the
I was
desk.
going to say, the little video has a delay, so I thought just...
Just need one more. Oh. She's amazed by stereoscopes. He did not just headbutt, yeah. Now you wonder why Grandpa's so old and confused. He's just Alright. Hereby call the summation examination conclusion. The ballot toss for the defendant's fire. 2 to guilty, 4 to not guilty. Accordingly, the jury is without consensus. And I order this trial to continue. Okay. Oh, by the way, what? You should hold on to this for now. You'll never know when it could be useful. Twice in 1 trials would be unusual, surely, but alright. Lord Van Dykes, you will instruct the witnesses that the court demands additional testimony from them. Crush or you? I'm sure it will spoil it would be okay to do so, my lord. Myself and refuse to probe that pair about their activities that I won't stop probing all the time. Please stop talking like that right now.
Listen, you just really wants to probe those guys, you know?
Who hasn't wanted to spend a night probing the fellas?
Me and the boys.
We're on to part 6.
Yep.
Order, please. Let us resume proceedings. Witnesses, you will now retake the stand. Hi, Tobias. Welcome back. I presume you heard the defense counsel's summation examination? Oh, yeah, Governor. I did, Gov. I did. Mr. Skulkin. Boy, blimey. This is going to be hard work. Earlier in this trial, you gave the following testimony about your actions after you entered Windibanks. Well, it was bedlam soon after. Was Nash, was. Didn't even have time to pull me dukes out of my Lucy lockets. However, that was a lie. You brothers. Oh, blimey. On the night in question, you rifled through the items on the victim's counter. You never done nothing of the sort. How'd you figure that out? We'll now give formal testimony once again. We'll tell the court precisely what happened on the night in question, and this time you will tell the truth. Each lie that passes your lips serves to increase the severity of your punishment. And that's 2 down. And that gentleman may deal a crushing blow to your chances of ever seeing the light of day again. A thought worth pondering, perhaps. Say no more, Gov, we hear you. One loud will squeak, will peach. So we've had one gauntlet thrown to the fire and one crushed. Alright, we did knock a few things over, but we weren't rifling for nothing. That was when we heard the gunshots, see? Made us pull the jump and all the stuff went flying. Mummy didn't give me half a fright. We was thinking the shooter would come out the door and get us next. We stuck everything back where we found it in Scarbridge, straight and tan in the black. We didn't shut the pawnbroker, see? We never even had a chance, did we? I feel like this game has taught me more about British slang than I've ever needed to learn.
Now you know.
You did indeed ransack Mr. Windibank's countertop in the night in question. Not ransack, Governor, no. That's right, Nash. That's right. It's more like we tidied up, yeah? Van Zykes looks like he's about had it with their nonsense. Sorry. By their own admission, these brothers entered the pawnbroker under dubious circumstances. However, they panicked and fled hearing the gunshot, having made good their mess. The way you say it, we hardly sound like roughs at all. We don't, Nash, we don't. Can't make us sound a bit more cutthroat. There's more to their testimony than meets the eye. I'm sure of it. I love how the camera keeps panning over to Gregson and it's just like, oh boy. Alright. Time to press them all.
Hold it!
If that's the case, then why didn't you testify to that fact in the first place? Well, you know, we ain't exactly squeaky clean, are we? We ain't, Nash, we ain't. If we admitted to something like that, people would think we was up to no good. Well said, Ringo me on China. We only land ourselves in more trouble. And in fact now, as a result of lying in your previous testimony, that's exactly what you've done, landed yourselves in even more trouble. Yeah, well, that's rotten luck. Says the rotten apple eater. Witnesses, explain your actions to the court. Why did you ransack the victim's counter? We never ransacked nothing. Right, Nash, right. More like you tidied the place up. Sorry.
Hold it!
So what you're saying is, the sound of the gunshots shocked you so much you knocked all the things off the counter? Well, it shocked one of us that much, yeah? This bag of nerves needs to learn to keep his shirt on. It was loud, alright? Blimey, me dead granny would have woken up at that bang. Big bruv hair screamed like a bloomin' baby and fell over on the counter. He knocked over a load of books, a candlestick, and some skull whatnot. That got tangled in some marionette, what knocked over a picture frame, what knocked over some scales on the floor. Really mastered working quietly then. What a racket, me granny would have scared back her into her grave with a clatter like that. So in short, the gunshot took you by surprise. And then some, I mean, it was quiet as a mouse, and then all of a sudden,
Is that right?
bang! Hey, Tobias. Jeez.
Aggressive eating.
Excuse me.
Excuse me, Gregson. How are you doing? Do you have something to add? Like I keep saying, I don't appreciate being lumped in with these scoundrels. No, something to add about their testimony? You seem to react just now at Mr. Scorpion said. Did it make you think of something? It's probably nothing, of course. I wouldn't even bother to mention it. Well, the fact is, the cases don't get solved if you ignore the little details. How about you just tell us what's on your mind? As you know, we brought these fellows into the yard for questioning last night. The statement they gave us told a slightly different story to what they're saying now. Did it? You claimed you heard the victim shout something out before the gunshot. Might have, Gov, might have. Does ring a bell now you mention it. Granted, it's only a minor detail, but still. Can't help feeling like perhaps you've been a bit sloppy with your testimony here, eh, fellas? If I discover the witness's testimony has been any more sloppy than it has hitherto proven to be, should be forced to bring the very harshest punishment to bear against them. Easy, easy. Get it right this time. That's it, yep. It's all coming back to me now. Then speak. Supplement your testimony with whatever details have miraculously turned to your questionable minds, sirs. Right you are, Gov. Just before the gunshot, we heard a voice yelling out, "Give me that gun!"
Hold it!
So in fact, you heard the voice and the gunshot almost simultaneously. We did, Gov, we did. Although, I suppose, if you're being honest, we heard a kind of wavering voice before the yell and all. If you don't want to get shot, give me that gun! Bang! Thank you for illustrating. Kind of thing. A career in acting tragically missed. Where was the voices coming from? Could you tell? Of course we could. Found the other side of that door behind the counter it was. The storeroom. The victim was found dead. And the voice you heard, it was that of the victim, Mr. Winterbank? On me Granny's life, of course it was. It is on his Granny's life, of course it was. So that would mean... They both knew Mr. Winterbank and the sound of his voice. Yeah, so that would mean what? What, Nash, what? Any ideas? Yes, Counsel, indeed it would. No, you didn't know the old geezer. How am I supposed to deny it when that bloke is in the fancy clobbers giving us the evil eye? If you value your lives, you will ensure your testimony is accurate and true.
Scary.
On me Granny's life it is. On his Granny's life it must be. It's a good job his Granny's dead.
I was going to say.
To summarize then, immediately after hearing the voice of the victim, you heard the gunshot, causing you to stumble and upset the items on the counter scattering them over the shop floor. Make it sound like we're clumsy. Don't forget we tidied up after like us, like good little boys. Anyway, the way I see it. The bloke that owned the place was holding the gun, so he should have just fired it instead of yelling at the girl.
Hold it!
That's an interesting piece of statement here. You're saying Mr. Winterbank had the gun. Oh yeah, but that was a sight, eh? Two of them waving guns at each other must have gotten pretty heated. I mean, just before he shouted out, we heard the geezer say, "You don't want to get shot." It does sound like he meant it, more of an empty threat, you could say. Mr. Winterbank was known to keep a revolver on his shop counter at all times. People say that to protect the articles in his keeping, he'd readily put a bullet in someone's head if required. That someone being himself, of course. Good grief, extraordinary devotion indeed, if alarmingly misguided. Well, he certainly sounded like he was ready to pull the trigger the other night. Only the person he was going to shoot beat him to it. Cooked his goose proper. Bet we wished we'd squeezed the trigger instead of wasting time shouting, "Give me that gun!" It was directly after those words you heard the gunshot. It was more or less at the same time, Gov. "Give me that gun!" Bang! Kind of thing. And yes, career in acting, very tragically missed. Then we heard heard the sound of someone hitting the deck, before everything went dead quiet. And after that, we done a slapdash job tidying the place up. So, like, that's obviously like contradictory to this photo, because Gina has his revolver, so I'm just gonna present it.
Objection!
The music stopped, so I definitely got it right. Saying that on the night in question, the victim, Mr. Windibank, was wielding a gun. Is that correct? That ain't gov. You got the picture. Yes, Nash, yes, no question. And yet the photographic evidence from the time of the incident clearly shows Mr. Windibank was not in possession of a firearm of any description.
Objection!
Objection. Lario and Luigi. You're not wrong. Does the defense really intend to highlight evidence that compromises the position of the accused even more? Furthermore, the defense has failed to establish that the photographic print presented was taken a suitably short period of time prior to the victim's death. Your chronology is severely lacking, counsel. Yeah, that's right. Too right, Nash, too right. The accused couldn't have been about to turn the tables on the girl. Hardly likely. No, I'm afraid this won't stand as conclusive evidence. Continue with the cross-examination, counsel, and heed my earlier warning, witnesses. The Skulkin's never sulkin. The face jiggle, the voice do is adorable, yeah. Alright, let's just, finish the...
Hold it!
So you didn't try to open the storeroom door then? Not on your life. I went deathly quiet after that, it did. Put the wind right up in me. But anyway, the door was locked, weren't it? There was no way to open it. Yes, of course, it was locked from the inside, or so it was led to believe. It was, Gov, it was, from the inside. Alright, so we had no way of knowing what was going on in there, did we? Unless there was some other way to get a view of the inside of the storeroom. Like through the keyhole, or the spy hole, perhaps. Don't ring no bells, don't light no lights. We had to cut and run before we noticed anything like that. We're still cutting our teeth into game, see, but one day. No, really, cut the muscle. With some cutting out. As we know, behind that door was the victim's lifeless body. Accused not 2 foot away. Yes, unfortunately. Gina was in there unconscious, with the gun in her hand. To confirm, would it be correct to say that neither of you set foot inside the storeroom? That's right, Gov, that's right. Couldn't have, even if we wanted to. We stuck everything back where we found it and scarred it straight into the black. So I feel like the proper thing to present to this should have just... Book was holding a gun. If he was shot in the back, I guess the photo would be the best thing, but I'm not going to finish this dialogue.
Hold it!
Because I can never be so sure. Are they Mordecai and Rigby in the courtroom? I've never watched a regular show to know enough to answer that question. Yes, whereupon you fired a shot from your own gun at Mr. Hallmark Chums. Oh, yeah, we was a bit hasty there. We was, Nash, we was. Truth be told, I was already shaking like a leaf when the lot turned up. Shaking like a leaf, you don't put a loaded gun in your hand. Good advice, miss, good advice. Truth be told, me mind went totally blank. Before your mind goes totally blank, make sure you don't have a loaded gun in your hand. Mental note made, miss. After that, we legged it down the street, but apparently we looked dodgy to the coppers or something, so we caught the darbies on us like winking. After you'd been handcuffed, the police found this revolver in your possession, correct? Well, yeah. But listen, that proves it, doesn't it, eh? We couldn't have shot the pawnbroker, see, we never even had a chance, did we?
Hold it!
And why should we believe that? Eh, what? Well, because it's true, isn't it? The place was totally empty when we went in. At that time, the victim already was in the storeroom, having been forced to open the door by the accused who had a gun to his head. In other words, on the night in question, these 2 witnesses never even laid eyes on the proprietor of the pawnbroker, Mr. Winbank. Correct? You got it, mister. Down with you. So the Skulkin brothers never actually encountered Mr. Winbank. Is that really true? That's it? That's the full extent of their testimony? What is it? you some herbal tea if you're tired. Oh, thank you, but I'm fine. Being such a logical thinker, you probably laugh. But I feel as though these brothers are still hiding something important. Nothing more than a feeling, though. I have no proof to support it. Well, feelings can be very logical at times. Sorry? People's expressions, the movement of their eyes, the words they choose. You can take all of that in and bring it quietly into this feeling to describe. You concluded that there's something suspicious about this testimony without knowing why, that's all. I think you should trust your instincts. There's thank you. Sometimes I think if she's 10 years old, I must be 5.
Mood.
Okay. So the thing I want to present here is probably the crime scene photograph. Because he wouldn't have been shot in the back.
Objection!
Yeah, let's do that. So you're saying that on the night in question, the victim, Mr. Windibank, was wielding a gun. Is that correct? That's it, Gov. You got the picture. He has, Nash, he has, no question. And yet, photographic evidence obtained immediately after the incident clearly shows that Mr. Windibank is not a firearm of any description. That wasn't what I was going with that photo, but cool. Gordon Bennett, that ain't right.
Objection!
There can be no question that the victim's revolver was used in the incident. I would remind the court that Mr. Windibank's gun was found at the scene. Not only was it identified as the murder weapon, it was found in the accused's hand. Yes, but that's not what we're fighting about here, Van Zyke. Idiot. That mole tooler used the victim's own gun to finish him off. Give me that gun. Bang. Kind of thing.
Hold it!
Stay exactly where you are. Right there. Eh? If the crime had taken place as you so colorfully described in your testimony, it would give rise to an undeniable and significant inconsistency in the final moments you just acted out. Are you sure, counsel? Yeah, anyone with functioning eyes. You intrigue me, my learned friend, but let's see some evidence to support your claim. Here's the proof that demonstrates this inconsistency with the witness's portrayal. Literally the same photograph that we presented to get here.
Take that!
According to their testimony, the witnesses claim to have heard a shout of, "Give me that gun," followed by a gunshot. Indeed, the two events happened almost simultaneously, or so we're led to believe. Yes, that's right. Now, if that testimony is true, it would mean that at the moment of death, the victim and his attacker would have been facing each other. However, if I could ask the court to study the photograph of the victim's body again, you can clearly see that Mr. Windibank was in fact shot from behind. So, as I stated before, there is an inconsistency with your testimony, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. But, it's the God honest truth. It is, Nash, it is. When we was shot that night, the shopkeeper had a gun in his hand, and we saw it with our own bleeding eyes. Did I hear you right just now? You actually saw Mr. Windibank holding a gun? Someone like that might have slipped out. Van Zyke is going to have these men hanged for the amount of perjury. Ladies and gentlemen, you have just all heard the admission by these two witnesses. On the night in question, they actually saw, with their own eyes, the victim wielding a gun. Which can only mean that despite their testimony to the contrary, the Skulkin brothers must have encountered the victim in person. Nash, Order, order, order. Witnesses, explain yourselves at once. Well, the thing is, we weren't supposed to, Van Zyke, it would seem, my previous warning fell on deaf ears. I made it quite clear that a false witness would be the death of you. I understand that you replaced the untruths of your original testimony with renewed lies. Ever so sorry, Governor. Truth is, see, we, cut it out, Nash, cut it out. If we blab now, you know what it'll do to us. Who are they talking about? Magnus McGill. Let me make your position here perfectly clear. You will talk. There is no other option available to you. Ruff, come on, the game's up. However, guts for garters. In case this hasn't quite sunk in yet, no matter how hard you try to hide it, the truth will come out. On the night in question, it is now apparent that you brothers met face to face with the victim. I demand you testify again to explain the precise circumstances under which this meeting took place. Well, do we have to? On pain of death. I suggest you make yourselves fully aware that this is your very last chance to tell the truth. Witness testimony. Encounter with the victim. Alright, so we did just get inside the gaff and he heaved a sigh of relief when the geezer showed us his mug. Give me that gun, he bellowed, and then flew at us like he was possessed. I thought we'd had it. For an old geezer, the bloke was strong as an ox. He chucked me over the counter. I pulled me gun on him, and then he legged it through that door into the back room. Never had nothing to do with killing him. That's all just happened, I swear. So you're now telling us that moments before the victim was killed in the storeroom, you in fact encountered him in the main part of the shop. Well, yeah. Sorry. Well, we find ourselves in an interesting juncture. This changes matters considerably. But honest, Governor, this time, Nash, this time we ain't got nothing more to hide. Very well, counsel for the defense, you may proceed with your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. This is like 16 consecutive crosses with these two, and I'm done. Alright, so we just got inside the gaff and you just sigh of relief when the geezer showed his mug.
Hold it!
When you say geezer, I presume you mean the victim and proprietor of the shop, Mr. Windibank? Who else? Sorry, I mean, yes, that's right. He was keeping a close eye on the entrance to the gaff, obviously. But we never thought no one was going to come out of the back room like that. The back room being the pawnbrokery storeroom. Yeah, that must be where he popped up from. The only place he could have been. So it would seem that the victim was already in the storeroom when his brothers entered the premises. Which means Ginny must have been in there at that point as well. But that doesn't make sense, does it? If Gina had threatened Windibank into the storeroom with her at gunpoint, then why would he have emerged from the same room all alone when the brothers arrived? Oh, I don't know. Did you see the accused at the time? What, that mall tooler? Couldn't tell you. No way, Cobber. You had bigger fish to fry then. I mean, the old geezer just lost it. Give me that gun, he bellowed, and then flew at us like he was possessed. I thought we'd had it.
Hold it!
You mentioned that Mr. Windibank shouted those words in your previous testimony, too. However, you claim that you heard him yelling them on the other side of the storeroom door. Yeah, did we? The truth is, he was shouting those words at you, wasn't he? Well, yeah. Was the victim Mr. Windibank wielding a gun at the time? Was he ever? Blimey lummy. Great ugly barrel he had, pointed straight at me frontispiece. So what you're saying is, you definitely saw Mr. Windibank with that gun at that time. Is this right? It is, Gov, it is. Spot on. Then all of a sudden, he came at us, he did. It was bedlam. I don't know what's going who for who. We're clearly all going for each other. Like Nash said, we thought we'd had it. I mean, for an old geezer, the bloke was strong as an ox. He chucked me over the counter.
Hold it!
Yes, I noticed that you mentioned the counter in your previous testimony, too. Well, yeah, of course we did. He knocked over a load of books, a candlestick, and some skull whatnot. I got tangled in some marionette, which knocked over a picture frame, which knocked the scales into the floor. So in fact, it wasn't the sound of the gunshot that shocked you, but knocked those things off the counter. Well, Big Bro here went flying over the counter like a gunshot, I can tell you, and then that old geezer pinned him. He did, Nash, he did. If he hadn't been there, the bloke would have flattened me like a lemon pancake in seconds. At the time in question, the alarm was raised at the local police station via secret cable from the pawnbrokery. There's a button on the counter used to activate it, which presumably was pressed by the victim. That's right, when the brothers fled to the scene and back onto the street, they ran straight for the arriving police, didn't they? Mr. Windibank did everything he could to protect the shop. Lario's the older sibling. Yeah, I actually believe that's correct. Mr. Windibank. No. Never. I was just, you know, looking out for me bro, weren't I? It was being flattened, don't forget. By a man whose shop was being burned, yes. And then the man fled through the storeroom when you pointed your gun at him. Is that correct? Yeah, that's it. He shoved me away and ran off through that door and shut himself in. There's something about that last remark. Something that doesn't quite ring true. Windibank ran away into the storeroom. Well, according to what everyone was saying, Ginny was in there waiting for him with a gun. Yeah, that's right. We know it should be used. Mr. Windibank's going to threaten him to force the door open. In which case, how did the gun end up in Windibank's hand? This is strange. No inconsistency can be seen if you never know about it. Look, the point is, me and Bruv here. The jury believed these guys from the get-go. Throw the whole court out. Honestly, I agree. Maybe get somebody other than the same 6 people I've seen this entire 2 months.
Hey, they did get someone new, and that was a random tourist off the street.
Yeah, who doesn't speak English and might be a Russian spy in Europe.
So maybe we should just keep it together.
I don't know. I feel like how many more Russian spies could we possibly pick off the street?
You'd be surprised.
That's true. What you don't know is this man is actually Vladimir Putin. That's right, Nash. We never had nothing to do with killing him. That's all that happens.
Hold it!
You say you had nothing to do with it? Nothing at all. Nothing, Gus, nothing. The old geezer went and shut himself in the background, didn't he? Locked it was from the inside. We know it was because we tried to open it. It was a decent door, that one. Good and strong, wouldn't budge an inch. So in the end, the situation remains unchanged. It says, person. Excuse me. So, the sole person who could have possibly shot the victim and accused Miss Jules. How did she get the gun from Windibanks, turn him around, and then shoot him in the back? Is there anyone else who could have possibly shot Mr. Windibank? Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. Yeah, what? What's that look for? From the moment you admitted that you'd encountered the victim face-to-face that night, the course of this trial changed completely. Did? What is your point, my learned friend? The question we must answer is who could have shot Mr. Windibank? And this is the belief of the defense that the defendant is not the only possible answer at all. There's a fucking window in the door. Gat him sideways, you know? You have my attention. In that case, let us return to this plan of the premises. The victim was killed in the storeroom, which was locked from the inside. Those are the facts. So pray, what other possible answers to the question of who shot the man could there be? Counsel, you must now provide answers to the court in respect to the 2 conundrums. 2, my lord. This is many chances to be right, maybe. Indeed, namely, from what location did the culprit shoot the victim, and furthermore, where was the victim at the time? Understood, my lord. Are you alright, Renault? I'm not entirely sure. But there's one thing I am sure about. If I can prove that there's a credible new alternative to what happened, it would change Gina's prospects hugely. So now, time for some clarity. Show the court in this plan the answers to the questions posed by his lordship. If you believe someone else could have killed the victim, indicate from where that person could have fired that gun. Yeah, right about there.
Take that!
The defense believes the culprit could have shot the victim from this location here. And in answer to the second question, assuming the culprit fired from that location indicated, where was the victim at the time? About there.
Take that!
The culprit shot the victim from outside the store. Continue. Mr. Windibank died instantly from a bullet wound in his back. Looking at the stain of blood on the storeroom floor, it doesn't appear that the body was moved after death, which tells us he almost certainly shot while he was in the storeroom. However, that's the crucial point where the shooter was when the fatal bullet was fired. So you are adamant the shot was fired from outside the store. Well, according According to the Skulkin brothers' earlier testimony, I pulled me gun on him, and then he legged it through that door into the back room. If Mr. Winterbank ran through that door, we have to assume that the door was open at the time. It was at that precise moment, when the victim was fleeing for his life, the brothers had the perfect opportunity to shoot the man in the back once inside the storeroom. Come to think of it, do you remember what the prosecutor said at the start of the trial? Moving on to the findings of Scotland Yard's coroner. His report states that the bullet entered the body on a rising diagonal trajectory. It means the victim was likely shot by someone significantly shorter in height than himself. Poor man, shot while he was running as fast as he could to safety. Of course, he would have been leaning forward as he was running away, so if the bullet was fired horizontally, it still entered an upward trajectory. Not what I was expecting them to take away from that, but cool.
Objection!
I'm sure my learned friend here can't have forgotten. The storeroom door was found closed and locked from the inside. Claim the victim was shot as he fled into the room. Do you also claim his corpse was dexterous enough to turn the key in the lock? Or someone else locked the door? Yeah. Could be Gina, who was already in there. Who shut and locked the storeroom door from the inside? It would be very logical that Gina did it.
Take that!
Because, hey, Winterbank just got shot. He had a gun on him. Let me lock the door, and if they come for me, I shoot them.
Objection!
That's absurd. You're suggesting that the accused deliberately engineered the sealed room? For what possible reason such action will only serve to tighten the noose around her neck? I am inclined to agree, I must say, Royal Counsel. Yes, that's a tricky one, that is, isn't it? Half-baked notions have no place in my courtroom, Counsel. Remember that, please. Of course Ginny would have locked the door. It almost goes without saying, doesn't it? Well, if I was Ginny in that situation, I know I would have locked the door as quickly as I could. I mean, those two burglars had just fired a gun in her direction, hadn't they? Oh yes, obviously. Before the two brothers arrived, Miss Lestrade and Mr. Winterbank were in the storeroom together. Now I don't know what went on between them at that time, but at some point Mr. Winterbank heard the intruders break into the shop, left the storeroom. Intruders, eh? That's us, bro. If your theory is correct, that would leave the accused alone in the storeroom. Yes, it would. Then, probably only moments later, the victim fled back through the storeroom door, hoping to escape danger. Bang. Hit in the back by the bullet, Mr. Winterbank fell to the floor where he was just inside the storeroom. We have to ask ourselves is what would the defendant have done about it? Ah, I see where you're going with this. Outside the storeroom was a terrifying killer who had just murdered Mr. Winterbank. As soon as that thought struck Miss Lestrade, she slammed the door shut and locked it. Murder saved her own life.
Hold it!
Hold it? Oh, Nash shouted. But I mean, we ain't the ones who did it. We ain't Gov, we ain't. You gotta believe us. I mean, come on, we never shoot anyone.
Objection!
It's blatantly untrue. I know for a fact because before my own eyes, I shot Mr. Herlock Schultz. There's only one logical conclusion here. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin brothers had every opportunity to have been the true perpetrators of Mr. Winterbank's murder. But it's true, they couldn't have been the killers. Because their bullet only had one bullet, Mr. Winterbank's head. So if he fired the gun at
Imagine if there was this concept called reload. That's one of the things, like, all this hinges on the fact that
that's fair, but I mean, two gunshots ring out with the police on the way, that's the only thing that's like, yeah.
I know it's not logical, but it's just all this is based on the fact that you would be reloaded.
Uh-oh. Yeah. An admirable effort, my learned friend. What now? He's laughing. You found the situation of using Lord Van Zykes? I find myself the defense's argument most persuasive. Oh boy. Another chalice. Such chicanery is the bread and butter of the street performers in your provincial eastern nation.
Chicanery.
But such blatantly malicious conjuring tricks amount to nothing more than inexcusable pettifoggery here. What?
Whatever.
Pettifoggery.
English.
That was English.
It is a joke, Alex. It's saying stop using obnoxiously over-the-top language.
This man is a vampire. Did you really expect anything else? The hypothesis you put forward so ostensibly credibly cannot and will not stand. Because, you see, contains a fatal flaw. Yeah, it does. Do you mean to tell me that you're unaware of your logic's failing? I say, Lord Van Sykes. Might be an idea to explain why this bally conjuring trick or whatever is to the troops on the ground. The fatal flaw of my learned friend's argument is really simple to understand. 2 glasses thrown into the fire. Assuming you're not too dim-witted to count bullets. Like George, count bullets. Oh dear. He noticed then. What is everyone talking about? Counsel? Yes, sir.
Thank you, good.
Tell the court how many bullets were found at the scene of the crime. 2 bullets. Correct. The first, that which hit the victim in the back, ending his life. The second, that which struck the detective, Mr. Hairlock Sholmes, on his arrival to the scene. Indeed. The defense presented a picture showing the damage caused by the second bullet early in the proceedings. The bullet which injured Sholmes appears to have passed through his body to strike the counter. Your lordship's understanding is correct. Furthermore, you know that there are 2 firearms involved in the incident. The revolver belonging to the victim, Mr. Windibank, and the Spolkins brothers' revolver. The evidence shows a single bullet was fired from each gun. Yes, indeed it does. A single bullet from each. Now then, my learned friend. You yourself told the court only moments ago that these 2 brothers shot Mr. Hairlock Sholmes right before your eyes. Yes, I did. Oh my goodness, I think you'll find that if the single bullet was fired from the brother's gun to hit Mr. Sholmes, it means Windibank was not shot by the same gun stop. Only 1 bullet was stopped. Exactly. Yes, this Nipponese street performer presented an ostensibly credible argument. However, it's never anything more than a diversionary trick with no hope of standing up to scrutiny. Bonk.
Depressing. And they're surprised that at some point they didn't he's gonna. There goes the whole bottle.
So 2 thrown in the fire, 1 smashed, 1 bottle yeeted into the... Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging the dregs of this hallowed nectar into the public gallery. Lord Van Sykes.
Literally, what the heck, dude?
But this court needs to open its eyes.
Wake up, people.
The accused, Miss Gina Lestrade, is no ordinary little girl. Despite her young years, she can regrettably no longer be described as juvenile. No, the person in the dock is far from a law-abiding citizen. She has a past riddled with criminal conduct. You do not bring this up. This is not how court works. You can't just go yeeting wine into the gallery.
That's what he wants, Alex.
So far, we're down like 3 bottles of wine just from him casually yeeting them over his shoulder. The truth is, the accused broke into the pawnbroker in the night in question with loathsome intent. And as we see beyond a doubt, this print which depicts her threatening the victim with a murder weapon. And I have here in my possession 1 more piece of evidence that the prosecution wishes to present. The disc. I'll be taking that, whatever it is, of McGilda's down to the yard. Thank you very much. Don't give it to him. It's mine. That is mine. I'm sorry, miss. But anything belonging to McGilded has to be taken in as evidence now. Yes, that music box disc, McGilded's music box disc. The very day before the hateful murder of Mr. Windibank, the accused attempted to make off with this article, which clearly doesn't belong to her. And with none of the subtlety of a pickpocket, I might add, but by brute force and brazen impudence. It wasn't her that was trying to make off with it, it was Egbert, or whatever his name is. Make no mistake, any sympathy for the accused on account of her years is misguided and dangerous. And there are no depths to which this girl will not stoop in emotion, no crime she would not commit. The court forgets the fact that it is, in fact, I see. Anyone recruited to take He sounded incredibly scared when he shouted that into my ear. Yes, Inspector? We had a meeting yesterday at the yard with the prosecution service, and I think it was agreed that the disc wouldn't be used as evidence. What's this all about now? That's the first time he said anything to Van Sykes at all. I'm unaware of any such meeting. But those were my instructions right from the top. The government bigwigs were insistent. Inspector, I am the prosecutor, and I alone determine how to present my case. Your warning is noted, thank you. The prosecution wishes to proceed with submitting this disc as evidence, my lord. Indeed, bailiff. The prosecution has established the victim's motive, or the accused's motive, opportunity, and baseness of character. There's nothing more to add. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I await your informed decisions and rest my case. I don't believe it. I had the jury on my side for once, for all of 5 minutes. Oh dear, it wasn't even for 5 minutes, Reno. My lord, I wonder if I might say something at this point? Proceed, Mr. Foreman. Been stumbling about in a bit of a fog until now, if truth be told, but all of a sudden, the answer's badly obvious to me and my men. There's only one thing for it. Oh no. Summation examination 2!
Hey, we did it last time. Just keeps getting better.
Guilty.
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 The Russian that they got to do that was... It was just so stereotypical. It sounds like fucking Dracula from Castlevania. No consensus among the jury, it seems. When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. That's my line. I wrote that for Hurley. How dare he use it against us? Or errors, I don't think we've finished yet. There's still more to this case than we realize. It must be because there's one thing I'm absolutely certain of. Gina didn't shoot into me. Very well. We'll proceed with the second summation examination of the day. Mr. Foreman, are you and the other jurors ready? Daredevil Squadron is calling for ready for action, sir. Very good. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have now determined the defendant to be guilty. Jurors' contentions. Once a rogue, always a rogue, I say. Different breed to us law-abiding citizens. As only 2 bullets were found on the scene, I would say the whole case is done and dusted. You don't need a stereoscope to see the truth here. Every which way you look at it, it was that pickpocket. I never imagined that simple operation would cause me such grief. Grandpa, no. The accused attempted the theft on the previous day. I can see him in for a busy day. I am ballistics expert. I have seen many shootings. There is nothing I do not know about bullets. It seems there's little remaining room for doubt. I have to admit I was rather bowled over by the argument put forward by the chap in black. But when that fell apart like a house of cards, I saw I'd been jolly well hoodwinked. Well, no more. The whole courtroom is turning against me. Not fair, Iris. The prosecutor's being mean. Just because Ginny's done some things she shouldn't have in the past doesn't make her a murderer. Uh-oh. Van Zykes got another goblet. And another bottle. Allow me to savor this fruity vintage while I savor the spectacle of your fruitless debate on the matter. Here's to the truth coming out, eventually. Dude gets paid by the hour. I don't think he cares if we drag it on. First, I want to examine the music box disc. Blood. Actually, I feel as though I might have noticed that before. That's my time to shine again. That's what I was hoping. Can we get this done quickly, Iris? In a flash. color are we getting this time?
Rainbow.
Green. Sholmes' blood. Wait, that color. It's just that green. It's not the first time we've seen that color, is it? Oh boy. We're gonna call it there for the evening because I don't have time for another station examination. I gotta go eat, man. I was kind of hoping it would end there and we could call it a nice section.
We got like a week or two left. I don't know,
Yeah,
because
probably.
we burned through a lot of them quickly and then it kind of slowed down.
The courtroom
Six-
sections always take longer because it's so
we're
much
somewhere
back and forth.
through 6 out of 8, so
Yeah,
a week
we probably
maybe
got
two.
a week or two.
And then we're on to whatever is next.
Who knows? Alright, well it's been fun. Next time we try and accuse Beppo of murder or something.
No, not Beppo. Beppo did nothing wrong. Free my man.
We're gonna find out that Beppo is actually the green blood and he was the one who told us to remove all around.
He just wanted a warm meal.
He also did kind of commit a crime for the
He just apologized his spirit. Anyway,
good night. We'll be back.
I'll be back Tuesday for some more Persona.
Yeah. Like you said.
We got the robot lady now on our side.
Do you have dog?
Not yet. We've been introduced to Dog, we just haven't recruited Dog. We also recruited our first child soldier. He's in elementary school.
Is that the one that you were joking about romancing earlier?
That's the one that you can romance in the one version. That everybody goes, why?
I'm just gonna call it there.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Bye.